It's
I
done.
can, Don, but I lost your video.
Yeah, my camera was working fine. I had a video hearing with Harrisburg on Friday. It was working fine.
I did have you just a second ago.
Okay.
Yep, there you go. You're back.
Thank you.
Okay, for those of you here, we are still waiting for a couple of the other board members to join. We do not have a quorum yet. And it's shortly after 1, but let's give them a couple minutes here. And for those of you viewing my video background, the gentleman behind me is our new zoning officer, Jason Black. Hello.
Nice to meet you, Jason.
So at some point in time, we'll be sharing these duties, and Jason will be likely become the new secretary of the zoning hearing board at some point.
PJ, Laura, can you hear me? I think you're both on mute. Since we're just kind of sitting here anyway, you may want to discuss among yourselves which of you would want to serve as the hearing officer if we don't get a forum. Since I know you're both new to this, that would make one person, the appellant would have to, or the applicant would have to agree. One of you would serve as kind of judge and jury. You would make the decision, although both of you could participate in the questioning and you can deliberate among yourselves, but only one person would be serving as the hearing officer. And again, the applicant would have to agree in advance. So it's something you two might want to discuss among yourselves while we're waiting.
PJ, I have no preference. I'm willing to do it if that's necessary. That's fine.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too. I don't mind one way or the other. I can give Jeff a call real quick and see where he's at.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that. I was going to do it. Go ahead, PJ. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I'll give him a call.
Okay, we have a couple of, I promoted the applicants in as panelists for the first appeal, and Selena's joined us, so we do have a quorum of board members present.
Don, do you want to see if Selena wants to run the meeting since she's?
No, now that there's three, Laura, that's a moot issue.
Okay.
Oh, you mean wants to run it as a chairperson since I think she is the co-chairperson. I think that it falls to her. Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
So we got Selena, because I just talked to Jeff and he said he was having a hard time getting on. And he said that Selena, oh, do we have Selena though?
Yes, I am here.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so we don't need Jeff. I'd love to tell him that. We don't need.
Okay, are we waiting for Jeff?
No, he can't, for whatever reason,
Get on?
he's claiming he can't get in.
Okay. All right. Well, Jake, do you want to go ahead and call the meeting to order?
Sure. Regular meeting of the zoning hearing board is hereby called to order. I will do a roll call. Mr. Johnson, absent. Ms. King,
Present.
present. Mr. Dawson, absent. Ms. Gunchin,
Present.
present. And Mr. Manella,
Present.
present. We do have a quorum. Next up on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the June 8th, 2021 meeting. Hopefully the board members all had an opportunity to review the minutes. Are there any questions or revisions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve?
I so move.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. First appeal to be heard, and only appeal today, we have one on the agenda, is appeal number 12-257 by the Sisters of St. Joseph concerning property located at 440 West 19th Street, which is located in R2 zoning district. The appellant is seeking a use variance to allow construction of a greenhouse. Per section 204.12 of the city zoning ordinance, a greenhouse is not a permitted use in an R2 zoning district. We do have Heather here and Dave as well to present on behalf of the project. If there's anybody else you would like me to, any other participants you want me to let in to speak, please let me know. And I guess at this point, if there are any people that are going to provide testimony, will need to be sworn in by our court reporter.
Jake, there should be a Kyle Blackmer, who is our properties manager. He is not on the list to present, but if he could be present in case there are questions that he would best answer, I would appreciate that.
Okay, I just did move him over, so
Okay,
he will
thank
be
you.
able to speak if.
Okay, if anyone who's going to be testifying or thinks they're going to testify, please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony about to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Ms. Casper?
Okay, thank you everyone for hearing our appeal. In case you're not familiar with the SSJ Neighborhood Network, I'm going to give you just a little bit of background about us. We are sponsored by the Sisters of St. Joseph, and we provide social services and neighborhood revitalization activities within our service area, which stretches from 12th Street to 26th Street. and from Cranberry Street on the west side of town to the Bayfront Connector on the east side. So we cover that area. Our programs include basic needs and assistance, housing and home ownership, tutoring and after-school activities for youth, job skills development, and supported work opportunities for teens, a community bike program, blight removal, development of parks and green space, a weekly soup kitchen, community gardens, and the Little Italy's farm market. So a little about the project. In 2020, we purchased a blighted property at 440 West 19th Street, the property that we're here today to talk about. It is adjacent on the north and the east property lines to properties we already own. On 440 West 19th Street property, there were 2 outbuildings which had been collecting code violations for years. We removed those immediately. The existing house, we had it looked at. It was also deemed unusable and economically infeasible to renovate, but the basement and the foundation were primarily sound. So we wish to retain those, the basement and foundation, for use in the development of a new structure on the site. So the upper floors and the roof were demolished, with a structural engineer providing a plan to temporarily support the basement walls until a future use was determined that would assist our mission and further our programs for the neighbors. So one option for the reuse of this included the construction of a small greenhouse on the salvaged foundation. This would be in support of our community gardens and our food security programs. So this is when we engaged Bostwick Design Partnership through Dave Brennan to pursue the project feasibility and to assist in the adaptive design. So Dave, I'm going to hand this over to you to talk more specifically about the variance request.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Heather. We're here today to talk about 2 requests. Really, the one is the main request is the allowing the structure to be reused and renovated as a greenhouse, which, as Jake mentioned, is currently not permitted in the R2 zoning district. So that's the first request. And then the second one is kind of goes along with that, is to allow a side yard distance less than the prescribed width that's currently in the ordinance. For the first variance request, the item why we're here to talk about this is that there was unforeseen conditions with the structural condition of the house, and it made it economically infeasible to renovate. And because of this, that's when the Sister St. Joseph looked for an alternate use for this structure. And at the time of the purchase, it was not known of the poor condition. They weren't 100% sure what was there. But after further review, they found it could not be, it wasn't feasible to renovate. So the conditions were with the damaged decking and the structure. And that's why we're here today. And currently, these conditions did not allow for this renovation, but it did, as we'll talk about later, it did kind of fit in with some of the goals for the Sister St. Joseph with some of their different their missions to provide food for the neighborhood, food for the city and the programs they offer. That was the request 1, and then 2 was the issue with the property line. And actually, let me go back a little bit for the request number 1. One of the questions was, if approved, will this with this, how will this affect the neighborhood? And I know Heather, I don't know if you want to chime in on that part to talk about the how this kind of aligns with the mission. If we are allowed to build this greenhouse, how it aligns with your mission with this variance request.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Dave. A greenhouse, of course, supports our community gardens and our food security programs, our farmers market, but even more broadly, it supports our neighborhood revitalization activities. And the parcels that we do own just east of this, we are currently developing into a community park. And so this greenhouse project could add to the multi-purpose appeal of that space. It also is right on 19th Street. The development supports Active Erie's active transportation plan, which we are wholly in support of. The goal of their plan is to provide and link beautiful, comfortable, and safe community spaces where people want to be And so this supports that. It also supports the City of Erie refocused stabilization goals for Little Italy. And it is creating permanent improvement and neighborhood asset within 2021 HUD certified qualified census tracts, difficult development areas. It's also located within boundaries of Erie's federal flagship opportunity zone. So the permanent development here of green space as a neighborhood asset really falls into line with a number of programs even beyond our own. I guess more importantly, the neighbors who own and live in the parcels adjacent to the north and the west have also supplied their signatures of support for the project.
For variance request number 2, the hardship that was created is the current relationship to the property line. You know, of course, the owner, and actually we didn't even know how close it was until we had it surveyed. But we believe that the intention of the zoning ordinance in requiring the 15 feet setback was to provide a minimum setback for a mercantile function. And with this, you know, again, that's what we believe. I'm not sure exactly the origin of why this exact detail was in the ordinance, but the owner has confirmed that it will not be a mercantile use. There's gonna be no selling on the property. So we just believe that this may have been written because of the that it may have a negative effect on our district next door. If they did have people coming in and out and creating traffic, that is not going to happen here. And the owner confirmed that the greenhouse will not be open to the public. I don't know if you want to say a little something about that, Heather. I know you had mentioned something to me earlier about that.
Yeah, sure. We do have food distribution directly across the alley at our offices on West 18th Street. And so we already have a location there that we use that, or a block away at the farmer's market. We do some direct deliveries to restaurants in town that use some of our produce. But this site itself would never be open to the public. We would not be ever conducting sales out of it. It would be limited to our staff and specific user groups like the teams we employ for urban farming, those kind of things. It would not be open to the public.
And also with this, if you saw in the application package, some of the diagrams we supply for the site, the next door neighbor's house is approximately 32 feet away from this property. So I know in some urban neighborhoods, the houses are right on top of each other. So they're like, in some cases, 3 feet away. But in this case, the house has already been there for many years. And there's a large space between this, our current property, and this next door property to the west. And to, you know, even if there was a possibility of moving this foundation, of course, that would be very tough to do given the cost. It would be economically infeasible to try to pick up the structure, move it away from that property line. So I guess the Sister St. Joseph, kind of the highest and best use of this property in try to salvage the foundation would be to use it for a greenhouse. And it really just fits into what they're doing. And I think maybe Heather might say something about this later, is it could actually set an opportunity for the future property, other blighted properties in the city, for if this condition occurs where the structure is in bad condition and they wanted to partially reuse the foundation instead of tearing it down and just burying the site. So any other thoughts about that, Heather? We were talking about this. I think that was the other details regarding the property line relationship.
I could probably talk about it for an hour. That's the problem. So I'm happy to share more about the project that we've been talking about because I think it's pretty exciting. But at the same time, if that's unnecessary or if there are questions specific, maybe we just move past that. Otherwise, I'm happy to keep talking.
Okay, well, let's give, I'm going to give our board members a chance to ask if they have any questions. Colleagues, do you have any questions for either Ms. Casper or Mr. Brennan? On either one of because we're going to be voting on two different variances. One is the hardship request and the other one is going to be on the structure request. So do you have any questions on either one?
I don't have any questions, Selena. Heather, Dave, I commend you for a really interesting use of a otherwise problematic property.
Madam Chair, I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Is there anyone else to speak in favor of this project? Anyone else to speak in favor?
We have submitted letters and signatures of support along with this application. I hope that everybody received those.
We did get a letter. Jake, do you have the signatures and the other documentation?
All of the support letters were included in the packet, and then there was one that was emailed out to the board.
Okay, thank you. If there are none others to speak in favor of the proposed project, do we have anyone to speak against? Anyone to speak against? Hearing none, are we ready to call for the vote? Okay. Jake, we're ready to call on the vote.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Gungeon, how do you vote?
Vote yes.
Okay, and just to clarify, I believe we're going to vote on both, vote on the use variance separately from the dimensional variance. Is that correct, Ms. King?
Yes, I believe that we should, just for clarity's sake. And Dawn,
I
would
agree,
think
Selena.
from a
Yeah,
legal standpoint, we should probably do that. Okay, yes.
yeah, I agree.
Okay, so to that, I'll just choose that we're going to vote on the use variance first. And so I will be asking for the vote for the use variance. Ms. Gungeon, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Mr. Manella
Yes.
and Ms. King?
Yes.
And on the dimensional variance, Ms. Gungeon, how do you vote?
I also vote yes.
Mr. Manella,
Yes.
Ms. King?
Yes.
Thank you. Both votes are unanimous to approve the use and dimensional variances requested. With that, the appeal is approved.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you both for your vision and the commitment that you have to making our city better. We appreciate it. With that concludes our zoning hearing board meeting for this month. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We are officially adjourned.
Rather than speak on an open line like this, if any of you have any questions about next week for me or for Jake for that matter, please call us. I should have all the details for you no later than Monday, hopefully by Friday. I think I pretty much already told you everything, but once I get all the formal details, if you have any questions, you can call me.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, see everybody next week. Take care.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Have a good evening. Bye now.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.